As ring enhancing lesion appears on MRI and suddenly every option looks correct like metastasis, abscess, tuberculoma or NCC, what it could be. So this is where most rank losses happens. But exam don't want lists. They want only one clue. So look for the wall, edema, location, MRI findings and DWI spectroscopic evaluation and put these together and confusion disappears. In the next minute, I will give you the exam proof approach to ring enhancing brain lesions. Now, what is the core concept of ring enhancement? To know the core concept, we must know the definition, mechanism, and key principle. So, what is the definition of ring enhancement? It refers to the appearance of a bright rim surrounding a central area of low signal intensity or density on contrast enhanced CT and MRI. So, we can see in this image, this is a peripheral rim enhancing, and this is the central non-enhancing core. This dark one is the non-enhancing core. What is the mechanism of this? So it occurs because of the breakdown of blood-brain barrier. So this is the breakdown of the blood-brain barrier lead to the peripheral rim enhancement, and contrast material leaks into the surrounding tissue. So this shows the enhancing rim, and but the necrotic or cystic center does not enhance in post-contrast study. So this is the cause of rim enhancement. Now what is the key principle? The ring is essentially a viable tissue or inflammatory capsule around a non-enhancing core, that is the necrotic component or cystic component. So this is the viable tissue or inflammatory tissue, and this is the non-viable necrotic component. What is the example? Remember that ring enhancement is not disease specific. It is a radiologic pattern that can be produced by multiple pathologies like infection, tumor, demyelination or vascular lesion. If you see a rim enhancing lesion, then always ask one question: is there diffusion restriction? If yes, then where is it? Is this central or peripheral? If there is central diffusion restriction, then think of the brain abscess and see for the wall thickness and smoothness in post-contrast study. If it's smooth ring and bright on DWI and dark on ADC, then this will be the abscess. And if no diffusion restriction, then move to the next step. Look for the number and location. So if they are single or multiple, if they are multiple, then look for the edema. Is this disproportionate edema or mild edema? If there is disproportionate edema, then think of the metastasis. And if there are multiple in number and small in size with eccentrically placed scolex, then think of the NCC. And if the lesion is in basal ganglia and patient is immunocompromised, then think of the toxoplasmosis. After number and edema, look for the ring morphology. If it's thick and irregular ring, it has thick and irregular ring, then think of the malignant lesion. And if there is also the necrotic component, then think of the glioblastoma multiforme. And if it's thin regular ring with central necrosis, then think of the abscess. This is the thin ring. And if conglomerated ring, the multiple ring with conglomerated appearance, then this is the tuberculoma. And if it's incomplete ring open towards the cortex, this is the incomplete ring open towards the cortex, then this is the tumefactive demyelination. Let's know some differential diagnosis of regular and irregular rim enhancing lesion. So smooth or regular rim enhancement pattern seen in the abscess, low grade glioma, multiple sclerosis, toxoplasmosis and subacute infarction, whereas irregular ring seen in the necrotic tumor, metastasis, GBM and lymphoma in immunocompromised patient, whereas the resolving hematoma can show both smooth or irregular ring enhancement pattern. So these are the differentials of regular and irregular rim enhancing lesions. Timing and history. Why is this important? So recent stroke lesions can also show the rim enhancement in subacute phase, whereas the prior radiotherapy can also show the rim enhancement due to the radiation necrosis. So this should be differentiated from the infective and neoplastic pathology. That's why the timing and history are the very important. Now the tricks to remember. Restricted diffusion can be seen in abscess. Open ring is seen in demyelination. Gray-white junction involvement is metastasis or infective. Disproportionate edema is metastasis. Irregular thick ring is the GBM. Scolex is the pathognomic for NCC. And multiple conglomerated ring are the tuberculoma. Mnemonic to remember ring enhancing lesion is magic Dr. T or magic DRT. So, M for metastasis, A for abscess, G for GBM, I for infarct, C for cysticercosis, D for demyelination, R for radiation necrosis, and T for tuberculoma and toxoplasmosis. So, this is the mnemonic to memorize the ring enhancing lesions. As we see ring enhancing brain lesion, the biggest diagnostic dilemma in radiology exam is it a brain abscess or glioblastoma multiforme? So let's decode this using a simple comparison table that you can easily remember. So brain abscess is an infective lesion filled with pus and surrounded by a capsule, whereas GBM is an aggressive primary malignant brain tumor with necrosis and infiltrative growth. So let's compare the table. First, location. So location is the brain abscess is gray-white junction, as we can see in this image. This is the gray-white junction and it includes the deep white matter. This is the GBM including the deep white matter. Corpus callosum involvement. There is no corpus callosum or rarely corpus callosum involvement in the abscess, whereas the butterfly glioma can involve this corpus callosum. Both can be multifocal. Ring enhancement pattern. So look at the ring very carefully. If it's thin, regular and uniform and inner margin is smooth, then this is the abscess, as we can see in this image. And if it's irregular, nodular and with the saggy inner margin, as we can see in this image, this is the saggy margin. So this is the GBM. And the abscess shows the complete ring enhancement, whereas the GBM can be complete or incomplete. Both type can be seen in GBM. DWI-ADC is the single best differentiator of the abscess and GBM. So brain abscess shows restricted diffusion, as we can see in this image. This is the DWI bright and ADC dark. This is the diffusion restriction. Whereas in GBM, there is no such diffusion restriction in the central core. If you see the restricted diffusion, then this is the abscess. And if it's no diffusion restriction in the central core, then this could be the GBM. In T2 flare signal, that is the core is hyper intense in both brain abscess and GBM, whereas the surrounding edema is limited in abscess and extensive in the GBM, as we can see this image. And this shows the infiltration beyond the enhancement can be seen, whereas in abscess there is no infiltration. We can see that the smooth regular wall enhancement. MR spectroscopy shows the amino acid peak and lactate peak in abscess due to the necrotic component. So we can see here the lactate and this is the lipid peak. This suggests the abscess, whereas in GBM there is a choline peak. This is the choline and decreased and AA. So choline peak is due to the cellular turnover. So this is the differentiating point, that the lipid peak and lactate peak seen in the abscess, whereas the choline peak is seen in GBM. So this amino acid peak is the pathognomic for the abscess. In MR perfusion, relative cerebral blood volume is low in abscess. So this is low in abscess, whereas high in GBM, as we can see in this image. This is the GBM showing the high cerebral blood volume, and vascularity is poor in abscess, whereas high vascularity in GBM. So the example is the restricted diffusion is brain abscess and thick irregular ring plus infiltrative edema is GBM, and in MRS amino acid peak is the pathognomic for abscess and the choline peak is for the neoplastic lesion, so the GBM, and high relative cerebral blood volume is the GBM, and if diffusion weighted image is equivocal, then MR perfusion will be helpful in the diagnosis of abscess and GBM. Multiple ring enhancing brain lesions on MRI can be seen in the various conditions, and it is the one of the most repeatedly asked exam questions. So let's differentiate tuberculoma from the neurocysticercosis because they are the very close differentials for one another. So etiology is the tuberculoma is caused by the Mycobacterium tuberculosis, whereas the neurocysticercosis is caused by the Taenia solium. And the number is the single or multiple. Tuberculoma can be single or multiple, whereas the NCC are usually multiple. And the size criteria is very important because if it's multiple, then it should be differentiated from the NCC. So tuberculoma has the larger size that more than 2 centimeter, whereas the NCC has less than 2 centimeter size. And location is tuberculoma is mostly seen in the cortical and deep parenchyma, and it can also be seen in the corticomedullary junction, whereas NCC is seen in the cortico, subcortical or gray-white junction. But if it is numerous, then it can be seen throughout the brain parenchyma, as we can see in this image. And the basal cisterns may be involved in tuberculoma due to the meningeal tuberculosis, whereas it is rarely involved. Intraventricular lesions are common in NCC, whereas it is rare in tuberculoma. Ring enhancement in tuberculoma is thick, irregular, and it could be nodular. But in neurocysticercosis, it is thin, smooth, and regular, and wall thickness is thick as compared to this NCC. And the conglomerate rings are the classic finding of tuberculoma, and this could not visualized in NCC. And edema is mild to moderate or marked in tuberculoma, whereas mild in NCC depending on the stage. And the meningeal enhancement is common in tuberculoma due to the associated meningitis, but not seen in the NCC. And T2 signal of core is very important point for the tuberculoma. It is hypointense due to the solid caseation. So this is the pathognomic for tuberculoma, whereas it is hyperintense in NCC. This collex is pathognomic for NCC. As we can see in this image, there is a centrically placed collex which appears a hyperdense dot, and it is not visualized in tuberculoma, whereas in DWI there is no diffusion restriction in both tuberculoma and NCC. But if tuberculoma develops abscess formation, then this could show the diffusion restriction in the central core. And in MR spectroscopy, there is lipid peak in tuberculoma, whereas no such peak in NCC. And calcification is common in the NCC as compared to the tuberculoma. And in follow-up, there is slow resolution after the ATT management of tuberculoma. And in NCC, lesion resolves and calcifies with medication. Important exam clue is the T2 hypointense core plus thick wall plus lipid peak suggests the tuberculoma, whereas the scolex plus small thin walled lesion suggests the NCC. High yield exam differentiators are the small thin walled ring enhancing lesion at gray-white junction is NCC, large lesion with thick irregular wall and conglomerate rings are the tuberculoma. Scolex is the pathognomic for NCC, whereas the lipid peak on MRS is the pathognomic for tuberculoma or abscess. And the basal meningeal enhancement favors the tuberculosis, whereas the intraventricular cyst favors the NCC. So these are the high yield exam differentiators. Now the most important rim enhancing lesion differential is the brain metastasis. So this is the most common intracranial tumor in adults, and it is spread via the hematogenous route. And common primaries are the lung, breast, melanoma, RCC and GI tumors. So what we see in metastasis, that is the number and size. They could be the multiple in number and they are the variable size, small to medium, and similar size lesions can also be seen at different sites. Location of metastasis is the gray-white junction, cerebellum, basal ganglia, thalamus, and dural base. Imaging characteristic of metastasis is the hyperintense lesion with marked edema in T2 and flare. We can see in this T2 image there is a hyperintense lesion and edema is hyperintense in flare image. In post contrast, we can see that the thin, smooth rim enhancement. In the DWI, there is no diffusion restriction. We can see in this DWI and ADC, and no blooming in SWI. But if there is a hemorrhagic metastasis, then we can see that this is the fluid level and this is the blooming in SWI. In MR perfusion, we can see that the increased cerebral blood volume in the viable tissue, that is the rim. We can see here this red denotes the viable tissue and the increased cerebral blood volume. And in MRS, it is not specific for the metastasis, but it shows the choline peak. This suggests the cellular turnover, that is the neoplastic pathology. This shows the increased choline and decreased NAA. Now, some causes of hemorrhagic metastasis, that is the melanoma, renal cell carcinoma, choriocarcinoma, thyroid malignancy, and lung carcinoma. So, these are the references of this video lecture. And remember, ring enhancement is not a diagnosis, it's a pattern. If you systematically analyze location, size, wall thickness, edema, and MRI patterns, you can confidently differentiate abscess, GBM, tuberculoma, metastasis, and NCC. That's all for today's session on ring enhancing brain lesions. Remember, exam success comes from a structured approach and quick recall of key points. So don't stop here. Watch our next upcoming video where we tackle the most important MCQ for NEET-PG, FMG, and INI-CET. See you in the next video.